What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast and to the new year. I'm recording this on January 2nd, so it is a fresh, new, beautiful year here in Minnesota, where somehow it is still like 35 degrees outside, so I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good place. Something that's helped me a lot recently to maintain this good place and being relaxed, I guess, is this little device I want to share with you guys. This little technique I stumbled onto a couple of weeks ago. But before I tell you about the device and like what it does exactly, let me just put this out there, is that I think the end of the year can be really stressful for a lot of people. I think it's probably a good thing that most people just kind of shut down for the last few weeks of the year with the holidays, their family and all this stuff. But I think it is just inherently a stressful time with the changing of the seasons, things getting colder, with going and hanging out with family members, and that's fun and lovely, but it can also be very stress inducing for a lot of people. And then you also have the end of the year, and so there's all these things that you feel like you have to get ready and prepared so that you can go into the new year fresh, and that could be, paperwork, it could be closing out the year-end books, it could be all sorts of things. It could also be, now I feel the pressure to start reflecting on the year that was, and start forecasting, looking forward and saying like, what is in store for the next year. And all of these little things, like, they start to compound. And I've always found that the end of the year can be just the most stressful time of the year, because I feel like I should be doing not just the things that I know I need to be doing, but feel like there's all these other things. Like, I need to set my New Year's resolutions. I got to do my goals for the year. I got to do my reflections for the year and figure out what were the lessons that I learned. And all of that is good and important, but it is also additional work. It's a lot of mental strain when you're sitting there and thinking like, okay, what did I get out of this last year? What do I want to get out of the next year? And that can be very stressful, just very stress inducing. And for me, as somebody with ADHD, one of the things that we struggle with is thinking about the future and like really putting ourselves out into what might yet be, and thinking through situations and consequences of those situations. And we like to live in the now. We're very impulsive creatures, us with ADHD. And you might be like that too. You might be thinking, I know I need to do my goal setting, but goddamn if that doesn't feel like a lot of work right now. So I keep putting it off. And that's usually me. I'm not a big rah-rah guy on like New Year's resolutions and goal setting and like all that stuff, because it is just so stressful. Well, there's this little thing, this little device, this little technique that I found recently that actually has been really lovely, and I want to share it with you because it's a very simple solution. This device, I'm holding it up on the screen right now, and it's funny looking. It's very colorful. It's green and blue. It has looks like a little whistle. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you can see that. But if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this, you can always go over to the YouTube channel and see this thing. It looks like a whistle. And the idea behind this is it's called the Relaxator. It's a really weird name. They really need to work on the branding there. And this device is just very strange looking too. So a lot of room for improvement. It's a cheap little plastic device. What you do is you breathe out through this thing, and it's a constricted diaphragm. So what that does is it makes it so that you have to work your lungs pretty hard to push the air out through your mouth and through this device. And this does a number of things. Number one is if you have weak lungs, not saying like you're cardiovascularly weak, but a lot of people have a hard time breathing through their nose because they have weak lungs. I'm one of those people. This can help you strengthen that. But the thing that I find so beneficial about this is that it forces you to slow down your exhales, because you can only push the air out so hard through this thing. There's a lot of, you can dial it up and dial it back, but you can create as much pressure as you want. But you want to give yourself a little bit of tension. And what it does then is it makes it so that your exhale is taking a good solid 7 to 10 seconds. And there's a lot of research to support the idea that one of the things that we can do to self-soothe or calm ourselves when we're in a high anxiety state is to slow down our breathing, but not necessarily slowing down our inhales. That's part of it. But the part that we don't necessarily think about enough is how quickly are we exhaling? And what I've found is that is directly correlated for me, at least in terms of how stressed I feel. So if I'm exhaling rapidly, kind of hyperventilating, I'm probably in a very high anxiety, high stress state. But if I'm slowing down my breathing and it's well, that's probably going to be a pretty relaxed state for me. And so this device, I just put it in for like 10-15 minutes at a time throughout the day as I'm sitting here working, and I can instantly feel my body relax on that first long exhale. And there's just something about it now that's like, it's very pleasant. So this is a little device. You can go get one. I think it was like $30. I'm sure there's a bunch of companies that make stuff like this, but this is called the Relaxator. You can get it at relaxator.net. I don't have any kind of affiliate deal with them, but it's just a device I've really been enjoying. And it helped me through the end of the year, the anxiety and stress that comes with that. And it was just a cheap, simple little solution that I had never seen before, and I'm really digging it. So hopefully you give that a shot if you're feeling some stress and some anxiety, or you just want to be more intentional about your breathing. I think that's something that we could all do better at, because breathing is so deeply tied to countless different biological and psychological reflexes. And so the more that we can control that intentionally with thoughtful consideration, I think the more that we can manipulate our biology in an advantageous way. And I'm all for that. So go check this out if that's of any interest to you. If it's not, then that's cool. I still love you. I appreciate you guys being here. What's that thing they say? Oh yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Back here, as always. That's going to do it for me, guys. Stay happy, focus, my friends.